So we're jumping back into Jarnail Singh's testimony, and Jason Beer's trying to pin down that A, Gareth Jenkins' witness statement doesn't conform with any of the expectations of an expert's report, and that B, that he didn't give any direction to Gareth Jenkins really beyond meet the defence expert for the parameters or the records required in the meeting that he was going to have with the defence expert. How does he explain these decisions? Let's jump into the inquiry.
Can we move on, please, to poll 305-4056? The same day, now at 9 minutes past 3, you send Mr. Jenkins' witness statement of the 2nd of February and his witness statement of the 8th of February to Warwick Tatford and the investigator, John Longman. Can you see?
Yes.
And you say that you've served them on the defence?
Yes.
Yes? So at this point in time, 3 o'clock-ish on the 8th of February, would you agree that the only instructions that the post office had given to Mr. Jenkins were those that were set out in the email from John Longman that we saw earlier? Please comment on the witness statement or the expert report of Professor McLachlan, versions 2 and 3, and asking him to address his written points 1 to 4. That's the only form of instruction that Mr. Jenkins got. Agreed?
I don't recall. I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless I revisit the whole paperwork from the beginning to the end, and we put the clock back to, year 2010, I can't really assist you one way or the other what we did or didn't do. It was
on the documents we've seen, the only form of instructions that Mr. Jenkins got were requests to comment on Professor McLachlan's reports 2 and 3, and to address the 4 issues mentioned in the John Longman email.
Well, that's what we're trying to collate, is to get the two gentlemen together to work out where we go from there. I mean, certainly there's no intention of any of it. That's the practical approach to it. And as far as to where we are at that particular moment in time now, I don't recall, and I don't remember anything. So I don't recall on that. I can't assist you any further.
Would you at least agree that neither of the witness statements that Mr. Jenkins had provided at this time in draft incorporated the necessary elements of an expert report?
Which statement? Well, as I said to you, it's obviously been overlooked. You showed me the court's decision and my own attendance note, but at that time maybe it's overlooked, it's pressure of work or whatever it is. I'm sorry it wasn't done, but
as a matter of fact, it wasn't done though. So by this time,
yeah,
you're serving 2 witness statements in ordinary form on the defence, and by that time, neither of those witness statements incorporated the necessary elements of an expert report, the things that we discussed this morning.
He was it was the 8th of February 10. He wasn't considered to. He just brought in to get everybody to understand the system itself, because he's a specialist. It's a special system, and he's a specialist who able to assist the prosecution, the defence, and the court. So I can't say more than that. I mean, presumably, now that you pointed it out, there would have been. I mean, in time, I didn't know. Well, maybe it was overlooked by everybody concerned. There's a number of people involved in it. That we should have done what was required of us. So it's not anything more than that. But he was brought in purely because he was a specialist looking at a special system, which he was the best person to assist the court, the prosecution, and the defence.
So that would seem to be an admission then that it wasn't done in an expert report format, slightly less explicit than the expert instructions and witness statement discussion previously, but still I would say fairly conclusive confirmation thereby in that it's been an oversight, we've overlooked it.
That can come down, thank you. Can we move on to the 9th of February, poll 305 4085? And if we scroll down, please. Over the page. Scroll up a little bit, please. And again, please. I think that must be an errant reference. I'll move on. Fujitsu 00152979, please. The 22nd of February, you're writing directly to Mr. Jenkins, saying thank you for providing the 2 witness statements in the case. I've given your details to the defence expert, Alistair McLachlan, to contact you with a view to discussing the issues in the case. Just stopping there, the document I was trying to show you was you sending Fujitsu Mr. Jenkins' contact details, and you're confirming here that you've done so. And you continue with a view to discussing the case further and analysing the data as discussed. I'd be grateful to confirm whether he has been in touch with you and you've arranged a mutually convenient time for a meeting. Got to be done as soon as possible in view of the trial date of the 15th of March at Guildford Crown Court. Do you agree that you provided no instructions to Mr. Jenkins as to how he should approach this discussion with Professor McLachlan?
Well, it was a mutual meeting into Mr. The defence expert being, averse with the system, to be with a view to discussing the system more than that. Our guy is the expert in the system, in the sense that he's a specialist in the system. And
was that a Freudian slip there? Because he was an expert there, definitely.
He's more or less bringing the defence expert up to date as to trying to get him to understand the system itself. I think it's no more than that. I don't know what instructions I gave. I don't remember, or I don't recall exactly now in detail what this meeting is and what I'm asking him to do, or what he...
Well, you don't tell him what you're asking him to do.
I don't remember what... I think this meeting came about purely because these gentlemen, I think, either met together or they wanted to get together to really set out what they're going to discuss. I mean, I don't know, prepare some sort of agenda, but certainly I do not recall what my involvement in this was.
But it was you sending an email to Mr. Jenkins saying, have you had a meeting?
I don't recall exactly where we are with it, because to be honest, the amount of minute detail you're going at this moment in time, I can't assist you, because I don't... the time has... so much time has passed from there to now, and I don't really be able to assist you more than I can.
Do you agree, Mr. Singh, that you failed to tell Mr. Jenkins, A, how he should approach the discussion with Professor McLachlan, B, in what capacity he was instructed to conduct the discussion with Professor McLachlan, C, what issues the discussion should cover, and D, importantly, what record should be made of the discussion?
I don't recall any of that, but I...
Why didn't you do those things?
I don't recall. I don't know what the circumstances, the way their meeting was set up. Was it a preliminary one just to get him to understand the whole system or not? I mean, it wasn't.
Well, even if it was a preliminary one to get him to explain the whole system, you would say, this is just a preliminary meeting to explain the whole system. Don't go beyond that for the moment, Mr. Jenkins. But please ensure that a record is made of what you say to the defence expert, because that will be disclosable in due course.
And it would make sense, because obviously if something is later relied upon by the defence, say that one of his claims does have merit, and actually there's a claim then that wasn't said, or that's not how it works, and that record would also protect the post office in terms of those claims as well.
You must have known that, at least, Mr. Singh.
I don't recall. I mean, I don't recall as to how these circumstances came about, and I think at the end...
Well, the circumstances came about that you sent Mr. Jenkins' contact details to the defence, and then you sent Mr. Jenkins an email saying, have you had a meeting yet? They are the only circumstances.
Well, I think it was in agreement with the defence that they wanted this meeting purely because in order to assist them to defend their client. I don't know any more than what I'm telling you. I don't recall what happened, what didn't happen.